look hopelessly exposed here, and maybe they'll be punished for it with him. Oh, yes, they're most certainly punished. What a finish by Mbappe!
Touch back inside and buried! And now he's got his second of the day!
What if the biggest surprise of the 2026 FIFA World Cup is only 90 minutes away? On one side, you have France, a team filled with world-class stars and one of the favorites to lift the trophy. On the other, Morocco, a team that has built its reputation on fearless performances, incredible teamwork, and proving that they belong among football's elite. This isn't just another knockout game. It's a clash between experience and determination, between individual brilliance and collective discipline. And by the end of this match, one dream will continue while the other comes to an end. Before we dive into the full preview, I want to hear from you. Who do you think wins this game? Does France live up to the expectations, or will Morocco produce another unforgettable performance? Drop your prediction in the comments before kickoff, and let's see who gets it right. Now let's talk about why this matchup is so fascinating. France comes into this game with one of the strongest squads in the tournament. No matter where you look on the pitch, they have players capable of changing a match in a single moment. That's what makes them so dangerous. Even when they aren't dominating possession, they're always one quick attack away from scoring. Their biggest strength is how fast they transition from defense to attack. The moment they recover the ball, they don't waste time. They push forward immediately, looking to exploit any space left behind by the opposition. Against a team that commits too many players forward, France can become almost impossible to stop. But Morocco knows exactly what kind of challenge they're facing. This is a team that rarely loses its shape. They defend as a unit, stay compact, and force opponents into difficult positions. Instead of chasing the ball all over the field, they focus on protecting dangerous areas and waiting for the right moment to win possession. That discipline has been one of the biggest reasons behind their success. Another thing that makes Morocco so dangerous is their patience. They're comfortable defending for long periods if that's what the game requires. They don't panic when they're under pressure, and they don't lose confidence just because they're playing one of the tournament favorites. When they finally win the ball back, they move forward with purpose, using quick passing and intelligent movement to create opportunities before the defense can recover. That creates a very interesting tactical battle. Will France control the tempo from the opening whistle, or will Morocco succeed in slowing the game down and forcing France to become frustrated? Sometimes knockout matches aren't decided by who attacks more. They're decided by who stays patient longer. The mental side of the game could be just as important as the tactical one. France enters this match carrying enormous expectations. Anything less than a victory would be seen as a disappointment. Morocco, meanwhile, can play with freedom. They've already shown they can compete against top-level opposition, and that confidence makes them an extremely dangerous team. Of course, everyone will be watching the individual stars. France has several players capable of producing a moment of magic from absolutely nothing. A perfectly timed run, a clever pass between defenders, or a brilliant finish can completely change the course of the match in just a few seconds. That's why opponents have to remain focused from the first whistle until the very last. Morocco, however, isn't a team that depends on one player. Their biggest strength is how well everyone works together. Every player understands their role, tracks back when needed, and fights for every loose ball. That chemistry often allows them to compete with teams that may have more famous names on paper. The opening stages of this match could tell us a lot. If France scores early, they'll force Morocco to take more risks, creating extra space for dangerous counterattacks. But if Morocco keeps the score level and continues frustrating the French attack, the pressure on the favorites will only grow. The longer this game stays close, the more belief Morocco will gain. That's exactly why this has all the ingredients to become one of the most exciting matches of the tournament. Two talented teams, two completely different styles, and only one place in the next round waiting for the winner. Now let's look at where this game could actually be won and lost, because this matchup is about much more than star power. The team that makes fewer mistakes, stays more disciplined, and takes its chances could be the one celebrating at the final whistle. One of the biggest battles will take place in midfield. France will want to move the ball quickly, control the pace, and create openings before Morocco has time to settle into its defensive shape. The faster France can circulate possession, the more difficult it becomes for Morocco to stay compact. Morocco, however, has shown throughout the tournament that they don't mind defending for long stretches. They stay organized, close passing lanes, and force opponents into wide areas where it's much harder to create clear scoring chances. That's one of the reasons they've been so difficult to break down. The first 20 minutes could be incredibly important. If France starts quickly and creates early chances, Morocco may be forced to change its game plan much sooner than expected. But if Morocco absorbs that early pressure and keeps the score level, frustration could begin to build for the French side. In knockout football, confidence can change in an instant. Another key factor is how both teams deal with transitions. France is at its best when they recover possession and attack immediately. They don't need 10 or 15 passes to create danger. Sometimes just one accurate forward pass is enough to put their attackers in space. That's why Morocco has to be extremely careful whenever they lose the ball. At the same time, France can't afford to switch off defensively. Morocco may spend less time on the ball, but they know exactly how to punish teams that lose concentration. Their counterattacks are quick, direct, and often catch defenders before they're fully organized. If France leaves too much space behind its defensive line, Morocco will definitely try to exploit it. Set pieces could also play a huge role. World Cup knockout matches are often decided by the smallest moments. A dangerous free kick, a well-worked corner, or even a loose ball inside the penalty area can completely change the outcome. Neither team can afford to lose focus during dead ball situations. Another interesting battle will be the benches. As the game goes on, fresh legs become increasingly valuable. Defenders get tired, spaces begin to appear, and substitutes suddenly have a much bigger impact. France has impressive depth, giving them several options if they need more creativity or extra pace in the final stages. But Morocco has something just as valuable: belief. This team has already shown they aren't intimidated by big occasions. They trust their system, they trust each other, and they continue fighting until the very last minute. That mentality can make a huge difference in a knockout match where every decision matters. Discipline will also be critical. Players will need to stay calm, avoid unnecessary fouls, and make smart decisions under pressure. One careless challenge or one moment of poor concentration could completely change the game. At this stage of the World Cup, there is almost no room for mistakes. The longer the match remains close, the more intense the atmosphere will become. Every tackle will feel bigger. Every save will matter more. Every missed chance could become a turning point. That's what makes knockout football so special. You never know which single moment will end up deciding everything. Both teams have clear strengths and both have reasons to believe they can win. France brings experience, depth, and world-class quality. Morocco brings discipline, confidence, and the ability to frustrate even the strongest opponents. That's why this game feels so evenly balanced despite France entering as the favorite. One moment of brilliance, one defensive mistake, or one inspired save could be all it takes to decide who moves one step closer to the World Cup trophy. So who has the edge heading into this game? If we're talking purely about individual talent, it's difficult to look beyond France. They have players who can change a match with a single touch, a brilliant run, or a perfectly placed finish. That's what separates great teams from good ones. They don't need many opportunities to make the difference. But that's also why this game is so exciting. Morocco has built its success by proving that football isn't played on paper. Teamwork, discipline, and belief have taken them this far, and they'll be confident they can compete with anyone. They've shown throughout the tournament that they're willing to work for every ball, defend every attack, and take advantage of every mistake their opponents make. France knows they can't afford to underestimate them. If they become careless or lose concentration for even a few minutes, Morocco has the quality to make them pay. That's why patience will be one of the biggest keys to this match. France doesn't need to force the game early, and Morocco doesn't need to abandon its game plan just because they're facing one of the tournament favorites. As the clock keeps ticking, the pressure will continue to grow. If France scores first, the game could open up dramatically, giving their attackers even more space to work with. But if Morocco can keep the score level deep into the second half, belief will only continue to grow, and suddenly anything becomes possible. Another factor to watch is extra time. These two teams are capable of canceling each other out for long periods, so don't be surprised if this battle goes beyond 90 minutes. At that point, fitness, concentration, and squad depth could become even more important than tactics. So here's my prediction. I think this will be one of the closest matches of the tournament. Morocco will make life extremely difficult for France with their organization and defensive discipline. They won't give away many clear chances, and they'll always look dangerous whenever they break forward. However, I still give France a slight advantage. The biggest reason is their attacking depth and the number of players capable of producing a match-winning moment. Over the course of 90 minutes, or even longer, that extra quality could be enough to make the difference. But one thing is certain: nobody should be shocked if Morocco pulls off another memorable result. They've already shown they have the mentality, the confidence, and the quality to compete with the very best. That's exactly what makes the FIFA World Cup so special. Every knockout game has the potential to create another unforgettable chapter in football history. No matter which team comes out on top, fans around the world are in for an incredible match. Expect intensity, tactical battles, emotional moments, and plenty of drama from the opening whistle until the very end. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think is going to win? What's your final score prediction? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, because I'd love to see what you think before the match begins. If you enjoyed this preview, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your fellow football fans. Your support really helps the channel grow and allows me to keep bringing you more World Cup content. Thanks so much for watching, enjoy the match, and I'll see you in the next one.